feels up here, isn't it?
I'm Mya-Rose Craig and I'm an 18-year-old British environmental campaigner and activist. And I'm really excited because Greenpeace has invited me to go up to the Arctic with them this month. We're going to be looking at the new ocean that's being revealed as the ice caps are melting, but also trying to push through the Global Ocean Treaty at the UN to try and protect the wildlife and the new habitat that's being revealed. So the transit up north so far has been a bit rocky for me. I've had good days and bad days, but I probably have spent about half the journey so far feeling very, very sick, very seasick. So it's been a little bit embarrassing, but I'm feeling fine now. It's completely different to anything I've ever experienced before. It's been proper ship life. It was just so exciting. And one of the biggest highlights of the trip is to help with scientific research. We're understanding parts of the landscape that have never been explored before, and I think that this is going to be such an essential contribution to the future.
As scientists, why do you actually do this? Why are you making recordings of sort of the underwater sounds, I suppose?
If we want to be able to designate marine protected areas, we kind of need to know where things live. Yeah. And ideally what they're doing there, you know, how important that area is. So essentially what we're doing is helping to build up a picture of what whales and dolphin species live where. And we're recording everything. So we're recording the noise of ships or submarines or drilling, or so we're recording all the anthropogenic noise at the same time. Then that helps us sort of build up a picture of what, you know, so how can we help these animals live their lives without us impacting on them. So have a listen.
You can hear all the ice popping.
Yeah.
It sounds slightly like a river, actually.
Yeah, it does. It's like water dripping in a cave or something, isn't it? It's quite haunting because we can hear icebergs literally melting, and that is almost quite an emotional, sad sound, really, when we know that we're losing the mass of our glaciers at an unprecedented rapid rate.
I have a few personal goals as well coming up to the Arctic. I'm a massive bird watcher, and I had 3 species that I was desperate to see up here, and that was ivory gull, Brunix guillemot and little auk, which are all amazing birds that you... Speaking of birds, what are those? They were black guillemot. Sick, I've seen 2 off my list. Okay, right, sorted. That's 2 out of 3.
I've pictured 1,000 times what the Arctic was going to look like, what it was going to feel like when I was finally there, and it was nothing like that. It was so much more beautiful and so much more tranquil than I ever pictured. At the same time though, seeing the slush all around the boat, seeing these pieces of ice float away into the sea, I am watching the Arctic melt in this moment.
This year is yet another year when the Arctic sea ice melts to a near record low, and the rapid loss of sea ice in the Arctic, it's a sobering indicator of how closely our planet is circling the drain. Environmental justice and social justice go hand in hand, as it's often the most marginalized people who bear the brunt of climate crisis, of ocean destruction.
There's millions of climate change refugees at the moment. I have a lot of family that lives in Bangladesh, and a lot of the time people in my village are struggling to grow enough crops to keep them going from year to year. There's cyclones battering down on the coast. Everything, every biome in the world is interconnected, even if they're on the opposite sides of the world to one another. And I mean, there's very direct connections between the Arctic and Bangladesh in terms of sea level rise, in terms of the country slowly going underwater.
We're past the point of a wake-up call, we're past the point of ignorance. We need to make sure that our leaders, our decision makers, understand and care enough to do something about it.
There's two ways it could go, and we need to think really hard about what our priorities are.
By the time I'm 30, this could all be gone.